American South. He's always there, fighting for freedom over land and air. G.I. Joe!
Hello everybody, Mac here. Welcome back to the show. Go ahead and leave a like for the video because it's a 2-for-1 today that we are taking a look at the Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Iron Grenadier and Iron Grenadier B.A.T. And I have been really excited to open these up. I've had them for a while, just haven't had a chance to take a look at them yet. And back in the vintage line, when Destro went off on his own and we got the Iron Grenadiers with that, I was excited about that even as a kid, having this third faction with G.I. Joe, so that it always wasn't going to be G.I. Joe versus Cobra. You could do Cobra versus Mars. You could do Mars versus G.I. Joe. I was real big on having three-way battles for a single objective. I always loved having these guys as a third faction in the toy line. Now, in the vintage line, he really only had the Iron Grenadiers along with a couple of officers and his vehicles. He didn't have bats. I think it makes sense that he has bats, and I love that they gave him bats in the classified line. I'm really digging this paint job. We'll take a look at that once we get them out of the packaging. But these guys, the revamp that they gave the Iron Grenadiers, I really, really like this. Now, taking a look at the packaging, we have our standard packaging right here. The only thing I'm kind of upset about is that they put the Cobra logo with Iron Grenadiers over top of it, like there's some sort of subset of Cobra. They're not. This is Destro's forces. This is Mars Corporation. And I just wish they would have gotten rid of that. But that's, like, it even says Cobra at the top. That's not right, guys. That's not right. But that's not a deal breaker by any stretch of the imagination because they just look so cool. We have G.I. Joe Classified along the bottom, Hasbro logo, Cobra logo up top. On the side, we have the QR code and artwork. Flipping them around, it's the same deal. Really nice artwork of the Iron Grenadier right here. And then on the back, we have some nice promo shots of them. Great promo shots, highlights of what to check out once we open them up, which is what we are going to do. And I believe we are going to start with the Bat first, because, I mean, the Bats, it's going to be the Bat. We've kind of already seen the Bat, so we're going to go through the Bat pretty quickly. So without further ado, let's open this up and let's take a look at Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Iron Grenadier Bat. Okay, here he is, the Iron Grenadier Bat, out of the box, and putting the tape measure to him, we can see that he is 6.5 inches to the top of his Robo-Dome. I really love that they gave the Iron Grenadier Bat the alternate head as his standard head. And I think the first time we saw this alternate head was with the Arctic Bat. Because truthfully, if you have the Arctic Bat, that's basically what this is a repaint of the Arctic Bat. Because of the head, because of the accessories that he comes with. It's not, it's a little bit more than the standard Bat. And that's really all there is to it. I do have to admit that I love the paint job on this with the black, the golds, and the reds, that Mars paint scheme going on here. I absolutely love it. And I think it makes the alternate head with this like HAL 9000 eye stand out even more than it did with the Arctic one, because the Arctic head was basically just silver and kind of blended in with the rest of the body, with the rest of the paint scheme, like the arms, the pattern going around there. And while this does have the gold that we see a lot, throughout the figure, we also have the red highlight in the eye. The head is half black that matches with the rest of the paint scheme of the figure. I think this just really pops. This really stands out, and it has a fantastic look with this. I really love this. And we're going to go a little bit out of order right now, and we're going to take a look at one of the accessories right up front, and that is this. Focus in. That is this. That it also comes with the standard Bat head that has some gold back here in the vents, and of course the big red T going on up front to match the rest of the paint scheme. And you can pop it off easily and then pop this one on real easy. But I don't know. There's something about it that even though this is the standard Bat head, and we've seen this with all of the other versions of the Bats, this should look uniform. This should look normal to us by now. There's something about this that this head just doesn't look right on this body. And I think it's because this is just predominantly black with the red that the gold just kind of goes up and then disappears. I'm not entirely sure if that's the cause, but I don't know, there's just something about it that it doesn't look right. Like, it doesn't look bad, but I do think this looks so much better and so much, I don't want to say natural, but more uniform. Like, this is how he's supposed to look, or how it is supposed to look. And we have the standard bat sculpt with the rest of the figure, and I just really love how they've done up, giving it some extra shine with the new paint job. You have some red highlights here, the gold across the top of the boot, the red cuffs right here. We have gold buckles on the belt and on the hip holster right there, which I think is fantastic. Around the back, we have gold coming out here on that little, I don't want to say control panel, but exposed innards, gold in the arms. I really like that they didn't try and muddle up the internal circuit board with different colors like they did with the standard bat, where, like, I think this was red and these were yellow. That it's just the red circuit board with the black pieces on it, because Destro would 100% want to make sure his stuff wasn't gaudy and color matched. I really like that. And then we have the very clean paint apps for the straps going along the uniform right here, which look fantastic. Once again, that deep red just making the whole thing pop, helping to tie everything together. This looks so good. This is probably, without a doubt, my favorite version of the bat so far. And I think it's actually the first bat that we're taking a look at on this channel, because I do have the standard bat, I have the Arctic bat, I have a Python bat, a Crimson bat, and now the Iron Grenadier bat. And just because of the paint apps, the look, everything, I think this is just like my favorite version so far. We do have the Iron Grenadier's logo up here on the shoulder, just like the back of the box showed us. I dig that. That looks really good, very clean, tampoed on, or printed on there. So now let's take a look at the articulation. That the head will do a full 360. It can look up okay. It can look down very well. And along with the ball joint at the neck, you saw it has a dumbbell joint, a very short dumbbell joint here at the top of the neck. And you can see that you get some really decent tilt side to side. The arms will do a full 360 spin. We have the butterfly joint that all of the bats have. Bicep swivel. Oop. Arms will come up to 90. Double jointed elbows that will just completely fold in on itself, which is cool. Wrists pivot, wrists hinge in and out on both sides. Let's get his arms up out of the way. We have this ab crunch right here that he can crank forward very well. He can crank back very well. There is a ball joint here at the waist, so you can get the side to side. You can get some rock back, you can get some rock forward, and you can get some side to side going on. Drop down hips, which is hampered a little bit by the holster on this side, but the legs will come up to 90 right there. They will come out that far. Whoop, the belt is coming up and the pants are coming down. Let's push the hips back up into place. There we go. Thigh cut. Oh, that is very stiff. You can hear that. Thigh cut. Double jointed knees that will come all the way up. Boot cut. Ankle rocks back very well. Ankle rocks forward, not a whole lot. Forward facing pin for some rocker. Okay, the first accessory we're going to take a look at here is the only sidearm, the only firearm technically that the bat comes with, and that is his pistol right here. And this is the same pistol that we've seen with the other bats. I believe we've had some of these come with other Cobra officers as well. Slide action right here. Firearm, we have our laser and or light down here on the bottom. In my mind, this is just like an optical interface so that the bat can just see right through a POV of the barrel for targeting. That's my headcanon and I'm sticking with it. I really like the black coloring with the gold slide, and he does have a holster right here on his hip that it fits in very well, nice and tight. It's a soft rubber so you can really sink it in there and it won't fall out. So just like all the other bats, the Iron Grenadier's bat comes with the backpack and all of the add-on accessories that the bat typically comes with. Of course, we know that this backpack just plugs in right into the back right there. And then we have the accessories, the claw, the laser, the flamethrower, and the chainsaw. The chainsaw, once again, I believe came with the Arctic bat first, and now we have it with the Iron Grenadier's bat. I think this is only the second time we've gotten the chainsaw, and I really like the paint deco that they gave it with the gold body, the gold teeth, and then the black highlighting right there. Now, the only issue is that the backpack only has 3 slots, and we have 4 accessories, so the bat has to pick which one is getting left behind, and we know it's never going to be the chainsaw. And of course, like all of the other bats, the hands just pop off and the accessories can plug right on so that you can have your bat menacing the Joes or Cobra now, however you want. That actually looks... oh, that's dangerous, man. Like that. There's an infiltration bot right there if I've ever seen one. And then you can just take the other pieces, like let's take the laser and let's just plug it here, pointing down, so that that is right there. And then the standard hands can fit into the backpack here if you want him to be able to have access to those. And like I said, we have 4 accessories, but only 3 slots on the backpack. Now, with the flamethrower here, I never tried this until just now, and it's kind of disappointing that the blast effect socket hole right there is too big for the flame effects that came with torch, and will no doubt be coming with blowtorch. Mine also got a little bent there, by the way. But it's too big that they won't fit into the flamethrower, which is a shame because that would have looked really cool. What does fit, though, if you want to try this, is the jetpack accessory, the blast effect that comes with the jump pack, and that will fit into the flamethrower right there. And it doesn't look as good, but it kind of works. And it's also very tight. But then we also have, where did it go? Our standard blast effect right here. This is the one that came with the Viper 3-pack, that if we pop the laser off right there, let's put that on his hand. We put that on, that the laser does accept the standard blast effects there. So that will work. I just really wish that the flamethrower could take the flame effects. I think that would be really cool. Something else the bat comes with are these acrylic plates that you can put on his chest to cover up the machinery right there. Now, the original bat, and I mean way back in the 80s, the vintage bat, had a clear piece over that control panel right there. The first classified bat did not come with one of these. And I know a lot of people were upset about that. Now, this one comes with 2. It comes with this perfectly clear one, and it also comes with this one that's a little beat up, a little mangled, giving it a little bit of a look of battle damage. And that just pops right onto the front plate like so. Let's get that out of there. So you can make it look like the bat has been through some stuff. Now, there were people that were very excited about getting this piece and this piece to go along with the standard bat, because you could put this on the bat and then you could do this to have like a cartoon accurate bat. So this is our standard boy right here, and this is just the black chest piece that you either had that up or you had that off, and this was as close to a vintage look as you could get. And my original thought was I could just put this on and pop that on, but this bottom tab doesn't stay in, because this bottom tab is just a hair bigger than the one that comes with the classified bat. It's just a hair bigger, but it's big enough that it causes some problems when you're trying to tab it in, because you can't tab this into this bat, but you can pop this off and put this on that bat and have it stay if you want your Iron Grenadier bat to be completely closed up. Something else that they did is that you pop this off, but then the standard head, which if you put this head on this body, pretty much makes a Sunbow bat, doesn't fit because the ball joint is larger than the one that came with this one. And you can't tell me they didn't do all of this on purpose. I am not one for conspiracy theories, but I really think they did all of this on purpose, knowing that they were going to make the retro card bat that we have seen, or that we know is coming out, with the plastic shield, with the red visored head. And now we're going to be taking a look at the Iron Grenadier himself. And here he is, the Iron Grenadier, out of his box, and putting the tape measure to him, we see that he is 6 1/4 to the top of his head. The first thing I'm going to start off with is that I know there are some people that took umbrage with the new design of the Iron Grenadier, but I am not one of them. I absolutely love this new look, this new design, this top coat, the tie down there. I love this new look for them. I liked the original look, and as a matter of fact, I wouldn't hate if eventually down the line we might get the standard, or rather the vintage Iron Grenadier as like a trooper, like infantry, and maybe these are officers, or if it comes out as a retro card figure. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't hate that. But I think this classified version of the Iron Grenadier is gorgeous. I love this look. I really like this look. And if we start even with the face mask right here, I think this looks fantastic. This cherry red metallic paint that they have going on, this blend that comes back. You have your gold right there, but then you have like the silver band going around a black helmed dome. And of course, this isn't the final look for it because, once again, cheating with the accessories and jumping ahead a little, we have to put his helmet on because the helmet just really completes the look. And I would have loved, the helmet is a little loose on the head sometimes. It slides around. It's not as tight of a fit as I would like. I actually would have preferred if the helmet and the headpiece would have been all one piece, one sculpt, that it was just always there. But I understand wanting to be able to take the helmet off because, especially if you're army building these guys, you might want the option of saying this is an officer, this is infantry. You know what I mean? So I get wanting to have the option, but I would have really preferred if they would have just sculpted it as one piece with the helmet on. Kind of looks like, he looks like Darth Vader. I mean, let's admit it. Let's face it. But then you have the coat and the sash, and on back you have pieces to his belt with his sidearm holster right here, and then you have one of his weapon holsters right here. This sash isn't just slung across his back, it's actually pegged in. You can take it off, but you can see that there is a peg right there. You can see that there's a peg right there that fits into the back, so that the sash always keeps its position, its uniform position on the Iron Grenadier, which I do like. I think is really cool. You have the Iron Grenadier logo right here on the shelf, just like you did, right here on the shoulder, just like you did with the bat. I love the colors used here, like the blacks, the reds, the golds. It's just very striking, looks very good. I love that right here you sort of have this ribbed look, which, you know, gives the impression that this isn't just all for show, that there is armor underneath all of this. Also, around the neck, you have that ribbed design going on. Once again, giving the impression that this isn't just all flash, there is function to it. He is wearing body armor underneath all of this. The skull on the belt, I just noticed now. I really like that. We have another skull up here on his shoulder epaulette. I really dig the design of all of this. I feel like the legs we've seen before. Not necessarily the boots, but I feel like these legs we've seen before. I can't quite place it. I may be wrong, but I think the legs are reuse. And if they are reuse, I'm pretty sure it's the only thing that's reuse, because so much of this figure is brand new. And unless they do other variants of the Iron Grenadiers, I really don't think they're going to be able to use this again. We'll have to wait and see. Now, let's take a look at the articulation now that I'm done fawning over it. Like, even the gold buttons right here. Like, just the work on the buttons and the buttons around the sash. I think the whole thing just pops. It ties together. It's very unique. It's going to stand out, and they're going to be very different from your Cobra troopers. I just wish the helmet would stay. And now we will look at the articulation, that the head will do a full 360 spin. He can look up, not so well. He can look down, okay. And he does have a little bit of tilt side to side. The shirt collar, I feel, is what is interfering if there is a ball joint down here, because you do have the dumbbell joint and a ball joint there at the neck. But I feel like with the shirt collar coming up, it is what is hindering the use of that neck joint right there. Now the arms will do a full 360 spin. They have a butterfly joint. They will come up under 9. Is that all they'll come up? Oh, no, there we go. Oh, there we go, there we go. Comes up way past 90. Very nice. Bicep swivel. Double jointed arms that travel all the way. Wrists pivot. Now this wrist hinges in and out, and this wrist hinges up and down. That there's a couple of things wrong with this one. One, for some reason, this up and down hinge is very sticky. And that's even after I heated it up. But also, like so many of the classified figures, this sleeve interferes with the movement of it as well. Now, let's get his arms up out of the way. He has this ab crunch right here. Whoops. That he can crunch forward very well. He can crunch back very well. He does have the ball joint at the waist. Turning him side to side is a little tight because this piece is molded to fit around the waist, so you do get a little bit of resistance against it. But the ball joint doesn't go back very far. The ball joint goes forward way little. And there's not a whole lot of rock side to side because I do think this is interfering with it. Now it does interfere with leg articulation a little as well. Let's try and fold that up out of the way. Drop down hip. Leg will come up to there. Even with this pushed up as far as we can, you can see that it is interfering. Leg will come out to there. Let's pop it back in. We have the thigh cut. Double jointed knees. That's... You see, you get some decent closure, some decent travel right there. Boot cut hidden by the boot. Love figures that can do this. Love the boot, by the way. Love how it comes up on the side. You have this pouch, and then you have your boot cut right there. I really like the design of the boots. And then coming down, one thing we forgot to take a look at was these gold buckles down here as well. We have a gold buckle there on the top of the boot, and then on the inside right here where the boots would buckle. Ankles rock back very well. Ankles rock forward, pretty good. And then we have our forward-facing pin for some rocker. For as much as I love the Iron Grenadier figure right here, it kind of loses me on the accessories. And we're going to kind of rapid fire through these because they're accessories that we've all seen before plenty of times. Well, maybe not this one. First of all, we're going to take a look at this. This is his sidearm, and this is one that we first saw come with Destro. And I don't hate that they included this sidearm with the Iron Grenadier, because if it came with Destro and he made it special for him, it's a product of Mars Corporation, it makes sense to me that it would be with the Iron Grenadiers. Now, originally, it's designed to look like, you know, sort of like a future laser pistol. This was during their Nerf gun phase in like the first couple waves of Classified. I didn't hate that. I just hated that Roadblock came with a railgun instead of Ma Deuce. But this pistol isn't so bad because I even like how they have this chamber up top that you can just imagine that like that chamber pops out and then you pop a new one in and it's like a rotary cartridge, like a quick reload revolver or something. And this does fit on the Iron Grenadier. It gets holstered on the back. That's one of the built-in holsters on his lower belt. Now, unlike this one, I forgot to mention where this pegs into the back, this one does not come off. This one is not pegged in. It's all part of the lower skirting piece. So we have that right there. Another one that we have is this one. And once again, this originally came with Destro. And I'm of mixed minds about this. I mean, it's not bad. It definitely looks better than the one that came with Destro. I like the gold, as far as the paint apps go, I mean. I like the gold across the top. I think that looks really cool. But my issue is the handle right here, how it sort of has like that bent look. There's no real way to load a magazine into this weapon. You kind of have to just say it's a laser gun. Which I know G.I. Joe gets into sci-fi sometimes, but I'm not real big on just like in every character being able to like trot around laser guns. That's why we have Flash and sci-fi. One thing that I was thinking is you could like imagine that like this piece back here is just like a cartridge a magazine that just like pops out and then you slap a new one in there. I don't know. That's just me. To make it a submachine gun, which definitely wouldn't have a scope up top. But this fits in the back holster like so, pointing down with the scope coming down over the top. And another accessory that we have to take a look at is this, and this is the saber that we've seen with the numerous Crimson Guards that we've received. However, you may notice that when you pull the blade out, first of all being gold, it is upside down, that it should be sheathed like that, and then it would be plugged into the right hip. However, the Iron Grenadiers sheath it on their, I'm sorry, it would be on the left hip. The Iron Grenadiers sheath it on their right hip. So you have to use the scabbard upside down. And then there is a socket here on the side that the peg pops into. And then he can just wear that right there. So far, so good. Like I said, we've seen all of these accessories before. I'm not really that disappointed with them. I dig that they like gave them the same ones that Destro came with, and I like that they reused the saber because the vintage figure did have the saber hanging off the side. Now what we get into is the main weapons that they gave the Iron Grenadier are my two least favorite from the classified series, and the first one is this, which was Big Ben's original saw. This isn't a bad design, it's not a bad mold, but the stock sticks out a little too far that you can never really get like a good two-handed grip on this unless you sling it low and then have the second hand holding the top one. Like I do that with Big Ben all of the time. I do like that it was custom painted to match the Iron Grenadier's color scheme that is predominantly black with the red bipod and the red ammo box right here that does pop off so that you can like swap ammo boxes if you would want to. So we're going to bring, and the bipod does come down. We've seen this before with Big Ben. We're going to bring that down for now, and we're going to set it right down next to him. That now the second weapon that he comes with, Hasbro needs to stop using this. This is the double barrel AR. And when they first gave a figure this weapon, I think it was Big Ben actually, I thought this was so ridiculous looking. I didn't realize this is a real weapon. That doesn't make it any better. I'm not a fan of this. I don't like the size. I don't like the design. I don't like that this forward piece comes off so easily. Also, I'm not digging that Destro's team is using kind of mundane weapons. Now, don't get me wrong. The figure can hold these very well. The trigger fingers are designed that he can hold these very well. And we have a little bit of red right there to just, you know, accent the Iron Grenadiers. So he can hold it. And he doesn't look bad holding it. I just think this is kind of ridiculous. Also, like, because of this double barrel right there, you have, like, sockets, but you can't put blast effects in both ends because they kind of, like, clash. They kind of collide. This one, I believe, can take a standard Joe blast effect as well. Now, I'm not a fan of that saw, but I do appreciate that they gave him a heavier weapon so that if you're troop building, you can have like a specialist right there. But between me and you, the one that I wish that they would have really given him, because I understand that they have to reuse accessories because all of the money for this went into new tooling for the body. I get that. I understand that. I don't have a problem with that. But if they were going to reuse a weapon, the one that I really wish they would have given them was this. This is the rifle that came with the original Cobra Island Viper. And I think this would have just been excellent to outfit the Iron Grenadiers with. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking I'm going to give this to the Iron Grenadiers since my Vipers don't use it. My Vipers use a slew of other weapons that came with various sets that I have, like the Steel Core 2-pack that came with the weapon set and the Viper 3-pack. So they might be outfitted with these because, I mean, we have the magazine that pops out right there. It's a very unique design. It is definitely not something from real world, and it can take the blast effects right there. So I'm thinking my Iron Grenadiers may get outfitted with these. Now, something that I love about these two, and I'm sure you've seen this because they did this on the fan stream when they unveiled these two characters, and I know I'm not the first one to show this to you, but I love it so much I just want to go through with it, that there is part swapping capabilities between these two figures. And the first time I saw this, I don't even think I would have thought to do something like this, that we can pop the heads off. You can pop the head off the Bat, and it fits on the Iron Grenadier body. And you sort of end up with like either like an officer Bat or like a transferred intelligence cyborg or something like that. But then you can also take the hands. You can pop off the Iron Grenadier's hands. And then the Bat hands, they don't pop in, but they do stay in. There's enough of a tight grip in there that they fit in right there. And this look right here, I don't know about the rest of you, but if you've ever seen Hellboy, this so much reminds me of like that wind-up Clockwork Assassin that was in Hellboy, because then like you can also take this and put the Bat accessories on him, and that just looks creepy. That looks a little terrifying. I think that is awesome. I only have one of each right now, but I do plan on buying a few others in troop building. And this is definitely one that's going to be like standing out on the shelf, because right now the Iron Grenadiers don't really have much as far as like officers and specialized troops go. And now for size comparison, here they are with Iron Grenadier royalty, literally, the Laird and Lady of the Castle, Destro and Baroness. And I'm really curious to see what they're going to do with these two, because I don't doubt that eventually we're going to get a gold helmet, caped Iron Grenadier Destro. I'm curious to see if we're going to get an Iron Grenadier version of Baroness, which has never really been done before. But also, we need a new Baroness. Like, I know we have one coming with the Rattler, but I would really love to get like a new black suited Baroness with double jointed elbows, just some better limbs on her. Basically, I want the Baroness that came with the Crimson Strike Force 3-pack, only painted up in black. Here they are beside Hasbro Marvel Legends, Rom the Space Knight, and Dr. Doom as a Doombot. And man, I know I just did the video, but I forgot how big Rom is compared to the other 6-inch figures. Here they are beside Hasbro's Star Wars Black Series, Knights of the Old Republic, Darth Revan and Darth Nihilus. Here they are beside Valaverse Action Force Elite Praetorian and Pandora. From the country of Mattel, here they are beside Masters of the Universe Masterverse, Masters of the Universe movie Skeletor and Evil Lyn. Here they are beside NECA Toys Dungeons & Dragons Warduke and Grimsword. And here they are beside Airborne and me from the G.I.Joe Steel Corps. Like I said, right now I only have one of each of these, but I am definitely going to be getting more Iron Grenadiers and Iron Grenadier Bats. I'm not really that big into army building, but these ones I definitely want to have a few more of, especially the Iron Grenadier themselves. I really like the new design. I really like the new look. As much as I wasn't a fan of being able to take the helmet off at first, the more I played with them, the more ideas I had, the more I like the idea of being able to take off the helmet. One, so that when you do have some that are army built, they don't all look the same. And two, you can sort of play around with the idea that like a helmet on is an officer, or maybe like all the infantry have helmets on and like the specialists have the helmets off. Like there's a lot that you could do with that, with just being able to like customize the look and just, you know, coming up with ideas of your own. I think that's really cool. Options are always good. So I've really come around on that. What I haven't come around on is the weapons layout for the Iron Grenadier. Destro's pistol and Destro's submachine gun, I don't have a problem with. It makes sense that the figure would come with those. But the double barrel AR and the saw that he comes with, those I'm not real big fans of. The double barrel AR is just, it's too gimmicky. I don't like it. It's kind of ridiculous. They really should have replaced it with something else. The saw, I don't hate the saw. It's just too big for Joe figures. Like even Big Ben has a hard time getting a decent like two-handed grip on the weapon. Though I would have rather seen him come with the saw that like Stalker comes with, something like that. I think that would have been better suited for this figure. I love that you can part swap between these two. That's another reason why I'm going to be getting a few, because you better believe there's going to be at least one in there that's going to be like a transferred intelligence. It's going to be more like a cyborg than a bat. That's going to have that HAL 9000 eye staring out from like an Iron Grenadier suit. I think that looks awesome. The idea of being able to do that is fantastic. I don't have Metalhead yet, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get him, even though he is the only other Iron Grenadier that's out right now, because even when I was a kid, I wasn't a big fan of Metalhead. But I cannot wait. I cannot wait for Darklon to come out. I know it's going to be delayed right now, but like, I really can't wait for that one to come out. And I really hope that they come out with, there was an Iron Grenadier officer in the vintage line. I think his name was just Vulture. He had the eye patch and a vulture pet. That's why I think his name was Vulture. I would love if they came out with him too. He would look fantastic in the classified line. Please hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below if you have something to say about what we talked about today. I love you all for making it to the end of the video, and if you like what we do here and want to help the channel grow, please remember that you can by becoming a member for $1 a month, either through YouTube memberships or by becoming a monthly subscriber to my Ko-fi page. As a member, you'll have early access to all of our videos, access to a members-only Discord, and members-only videos every month. This month, we take a look at the Hot Toys 1/6 scale Darth Revan, and he's awesome. Please remember, everyone, play well, stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.